We can bring in Ahron Bregman. He's a senior teaching fellow in the Department of War Studies at King's College London. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today. So after 15 months, we're finally at the doorstep of this long-awaited ceasefire. But now, of course, this deal has to be respected. I mean, how optimistic are you that all these parties will see this through?
I believe that we will see an escalation between now and tomorrow morning. Both sides will try to fire the last shots before the ceasefire. I believe that the first phase will be fine, but the difficult phase or the difficult time will be the time when the parties will try to negotiate the next phase. This will be the difficult bit.
Now, assuming that things, move according to plan, Israel will have withdrawn its forces completely from Gaza during phase 2 of the agreement. So paint us a picture of how the Israeli military plans to carry this out.
Well, I'm not sure that we will. I hope that we will get to this phase. Netanyahu will resist it. For him to withdraw from the Gaza Strip, completely withdraw from the Gaza Strip, is to admit that he failed to achieve the most important aim of the war, to topple Hamas. It is to admit that Hamas is going to be in the Gaza Strip and rule it. But if things go according to plan, we will see Israeli forces getting out of the Philadelphia route separating the Gaza Strip and the Sinai. We will see them getting out of the Netzarim enclave, and they will deploy along the Gaza Strip, inside the Gaza Strip.
Now, we know that under the deal, displaced Gazans will be allowed to return home to the north. But of course, 60% of the buildings have been destroyed and, large swathes of the enclave are unlivable. It's still a hugely daunting uphill battle for Gazans, even with the reconstruction plan in place.
There are about 1 million Palestinians, Gazans, who left the northern part of the Gaza Strip and moved southwest. They are allowed to go back home as of tomorrow. We're talking about 1 million people. It's a big number. Those returning to the north by on foot, could just walk to there and go into what used to be their house. Those who decide to return by car, the boot will be opened by an American company to check that there are no arms there. And you are right, 60-70% of the structures of the houses in the northern Gaza Strip are destroyed. Israel turned Gaza into dust and rubble. There is an agreement that during the first phase, prefabricated houses will be put there, and the Gazans will be able to stay there until the houses are rebuilt.
Now, I wonder what you make of the timing of this agreement, because it's not the first time the same deal was proposed to Netanyahu months ago, and it can't be ignored, of course, that it comes just days before the new incoming U.S. administration.
The deal, of course, was put together by the Biden administration. This is the work of the Biden administration, but you needed Trump to say to Netanyahu, you have to take it, also to Hamas, but mainly to Netanyahu. Biden was just too gentle, and Trump can tell Netanyahu to do it, and he did. And this is the price for Trump, who is going to be inaugurated on Monday.
Now, this ceasefire and hostage release deal is, I think it's safe to say, far from Netanyahu's promised so-called total victory. How do you think Netanyahu and his cabinet are perceiving this outcome?
I think that in my previous interviews on your channel, the last 15 months, I repeated the clear fact that there is not going to be a total victory there. that even after this war, there will be Hamas in the Gaza Strip, standing there and running the place until there is a replacement. For Netanyahu, it is very difficult because he, of course, promised a total victory. And therefore, Netanyahu, I believe, will try to stall, will try to block the transition from phase 1 to phase 2, because in phase 2, he is supposed to withdraw from the Gaza Strip and end the war.
Ahron Bregman from King's College London, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us today on the programme.